Chapter 1. The Unexpected Discovery. Deep in the quiet of the archives at Houston's Johnson Space Center, young engineer Sarah Martinez had been working for hours at her screen. At 28, Sarah was a digital archives specialist at NASA, tasked with converting old mission records into digital format. That day, Sarah was working on the Apollo 17 mission, humanity's last journey to the moon in 1972. The raw audio of astronauts Eugene Cernan and Harrison Schmidt's conversations on the lunar surface spanned dozens of hours. Around 3:30 p.m., Sarah noticed an anomaly. In the recordings from Apollo 17's second day, between the normal astronaut, control center communications, an unidentified frequency appeared. "What could this be?" she murmured, putting on her headphones to listen more closely. When the normal communications dropped out, a rhythmic pattern lasting about 2 minutes came through. Sarah deepened the audio analysis. The signal didn't resemble natural cosmic radiation, nor did it match the standard signals produced by Apollo-era equipment. Its most striking feature was a structure that repeated at regular intervals. "It's like someone sending Morse code," she noted in her file. The signal's frequency was about 1,420 megahertz, very close to the characteristic frequency of hydrogen atoms. Using advanced audio processing software, she ran a spectral analysis. The results were surprising. The signal clearly had an artificial order. It was completely different from the random noise produced by natural cosmic phenomena. "This is definitely not natural," Sarah told herself. She tried to determine the source. When she checked Apollo 17's position and the antenna's orientation, it became clear that the signal came from the moon's surface. Even more interesting was exactly where it came from. According to Sarah's calculations, the source was very close to Tranquility Base, the Apollo 11 landing site. To verify the finding, Sarah checked other recordings. Were there similar signals on other Apollo 17 days? At first pass, she found no other anomalies, but that 2-minute signal was definitely there. At 6 p.m., Sarah decided to report her finding to her section chief, Dr. Robert Williams, a respected NASA engineer with 25 years of experience. "Dr. Williams, I found something very interesting in the Apollo 17 recordings," Sarah said as she entered the meeting room. As she presented her findings, Dr. Williams's expression grew serious and intent. He listened to the audio and studied the spectral reports, his brow furrowing. "Have you seen a signal like this before, Sarah?" he asked. "No, sir, this is my first time. But it's definitely an anomaly," she replied. "And the source coordinates are quite interesting." After a few minutes of quiet thought at his desk, Dr. Williams made an unexpected decision. "Sarah, we'll keep this file in the archive for now. We won't add it to the official report." "But sir, this could be a very important finding," Sarah objected. Politely but firmly, Dr. Williams answered, "Sarah, sometimes old recordings pick up electromagnetic interference. This is most likely a technical anomaly. For now, I want you to forget about this and focus on your other projects." Sarah wasn't happy with that approach, but she had to respect her superior's decision. That night at home, she kept thinking about how important her finding might be. Chapter 2. Musk's Quiet Visit. In the second week of March, an unusual silence began in the tech world. Elon Musk, who normally posted several times a day, didn't appear on social media for a full week. Tesla's PR department answered press questions for personal reasons. SpaceX employees also didn't have clear information about where their boss was. This period of silence was very different from Musk's normal pattern of behavior. Usually active even late at night, the billionaire entrepreneur had slipped completely under the radar. On March 15th, Mike Rodriguez, a security officer at the Johnson Space Center, logged an unusual visit. At 1:30 a.m., a private vehicle convoy arrived at the center. According to Mike's security report, the convoy consisted of 3 black SUVs. The person who stepped out of the middle vehicle was tall, thin, and had a characteristic way of walking. "I recognized that gait," Mike wrote. "It looked like the walk of that tech CEO I've seen on TV." The visitor was carrying a small metallic case. Its shape and size resembled the special containers NASA used to transport lunar rock samples. That night, Dr. Lisa Chun, the shift supervisor at the Johnson Space Center, escorted the unexpected visitor to a private meeting room. According to Dr. Chen's report, only top-level engineers attended. The meeting lasted about 2 hours, Dr. Chen noted. The atmosphere was extremely secretive. We lower-level staff weren't told what was discussed. NASA's lunar program director, Dr. Patricia Moore, was also present. An Apollo program veteran with deep knowledge of lunar geology, her presence was notable. Security cameras showed that when the visitor left the meeting room, he was no longer carrying the metallic case he'd arrived with. The case remained with NASA officials. The next morning, some engineers at the Johnson Space Center noticed unexpected activity in the lunar samples lab. That lab is usually only used a few hours a week, materials specialist Dr. James Park explained. That morning, the full analysis team was at work. When Sarah Martinez arrived at work, she noticed the unusual level of activity in the lab. From the archives, she could see it was busy. It seemed like a very important sample was being analyzed, she noted. Thinking about her discovery the night before, she wondered whether this activity was just a coincidence. Later that afternoon, NASA made an official statement that new strategic partnerships for the long-term lunar program were being evaluated. But it didn't say which companies. SpaceX's PR department stated that their CEO held routine technical meetings with NASA. No details about the meeting's content were provided. Chapter 3. The Leaked Files. In late March, a leak shook the tech world. Through an encrypted file-sharing platform, an anonymous account published a file named lunar_call_protocol_7.zip. One of the first people to find it was David Kim, a graduate student pursuing a PhD in astrophysics at MIT. David was an active researcher working on space signals. When I opened the file, there were audio recordings allegedly from Apollo missions and spectral analysis reports, David said of the experience. The most striking document was titled Anomalous Signal Detection, Apollo 17, Day 2. It had the exact same features as the signal Sarah Martinez had found. There was a particularly striking note in the report. Signal source coordinates, 0 degrees 41 minutes 15 seconds north, 23 degrees 28 minutes 22 seconds east. Proximity to Tranquility Base confirmed. Signal duration, 124 seconds. Artificial pattern probability, 94.7%. When David checked the coordinates, he confirmed that the source was indeed very close to the Apollo 11 landing site. This is no coincidence, he wrote. The documents also presented a detailed spectral analysis of the signal. The frequency was noted as 1420.405751777 MHz, the hydrogen spin-flip transition frequency, widely used in SETI research. The most shocking part was the notes showing attempts to decode the signal. Binary pattern detected. Possible digital encoding. Further analysis required. MIT signal processing expert Professor Alan Torres examined the documents David sent. These data look real, Professor Torres assessed. The spectral analysis techniques are professional standard. At the end of the documents were the notations, classification level, need-to-know basis only, and distribution, authorized personnel. That suggested the documents really did leak from inside NASA. David Kim decided to share his findings on social media. If this is real, it's very important for human history, he said, explaining his decision. He posted first on Twitter. Found something incredible in leaked NASA docs. Apollo 17 detected artificial signal from moon surface, near Apollo 11 landing site. This is huge. #Lunar Call. The tweet got thousands of retweets within hours. Space enthusiasts, scientists, and even conspiracy theorists showed great interest. On Reddit's r/space, a post titled Leaked Apollo 17 Documents Show Artificial Signal from Moon received 25,000 upvotes. Users began analyzing every detail of the documents. Stanford radio astronomer Dr. Jennifer Walsh commented after reviewing the documents. If these data aren't fake, this could be the most important discovery in the history of space research. Chapter 4. Professional Analysis. As the documents spread, expert opinions from the scientific community began to arrive. The first comprehensive analysis came from MIT astrophysics professor Dr. Maria Rodriguez. The spectral analysis data in the documents appear to be professional standard, Dr. Rodriguez explained. The methodology used is consistent with NASA's normal procedures. According to Dr. Rodriguez, the most notable feature of the signal was its regular repeating structure. Natural cosmic events don't produce such regular patterns. This is clearly an artificial signal. Caltech radio astronomy expert Dr. Kevin Chun analyzed the signal's frequency. 1,420 MHz is known as a magic frequency in SETI research. Because it's hydrogen's characteristic frequency, it's thought intelligent life might use it to communicate. If it is truly a communication signal, the sender likely chose this frequency consciously, Dr. Chun added. Berkeley digital signal processing expert Professor Sarah Williams examined the claim that the signal contained a binary pattern. From what I can tell in the documents, there are digital codes resembling ones and zeros in the signal. Her analysis suggested the signal wasn't just random noise, but might indeed contain an encoding scheme. It resembles modern digital communication systems. Dr. Michael Foster of the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics emphasized its importance for SETI. We've searched for alien signals for 50 years. If this signal is genuine and artificial, it could be the greatest discovery in history. Skeptical views existed as well. Princeton physicist Dr. Robert Klein warned, these documents could easily be fake. Spectral analysis reports can be produced by a technician. According to Dr. Klein, the signal's purported origin on the lunar surface was also suspect. There's no known natural mechanism on the moon to produce a signal. This is either a fake document or a very big discovery. NASA's lack of an official statement only fueled the debate. The scientific community became highly polarized. Johns Hopkins space engineer Dr. Lisa Park summarized, either we're facing the most important discovery in human history or a very sophisticated hoax. Both are extremely extraordinary. Chapter 5, Media Explosion. In early April, mainstream media turned to the Lunar Call story. CNN broke the first big headline. Leaked NASA documents suggest artificial signal from moon surface. On CNN, MIT's Dr. Maria Rodriguez detailed her findings. This signal can't be explained by any known natural cosmic phenomenon. The probability of an artificial origin is very high. The story went viral on social media. The hashtag Lunar Call was used in over 100,000 tweets within 24 hours. People began sharing their own theories. Some users claimed it was alien communication. At Space Explorer 92 tweeted, 50 years ago we landed on the moon. Maybe someone was already there waiting for us. Hashtag Lunar Call, hashtag First Contact. Others were more skeptical. At Skeptic Science, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. These documents could be easily faked. Where's the peer review? Hashtag Lunar Call. The BBC ran a story titled Mystery Signal from Moon Sparks Scientific Debate. BBC science editor Jonathan Amos covered it with balance. The documents haven't been verified, but they've sparked great curiosity in the scientific community. Discovery Channel rushed to produce a special titled Lunar Call, Signal from Space. The program would feature leading space scientists. On Wall Street, space technology stocks surged. SpaceX's valuation rose 8% in a day. Investors thought the new lunar program might accelerate. Forbes published an analysis titled Lunar Signal Could Accelerate Space Race. The article discussed how lunar colonization programs could be affected if the signal was confirmed. On Reddit's r/conspiracy, more radical theories began circulating. A thread titled, NASA has been hiding alien contact for 50 years, received 50,000 comments. YouTube space channels released emergency specials. The Isaac Arthur channel's The Lunar Signal Analysis hit 2 million views in 48 hours. The European Space Agency made a cautious statement. We are reviewing the leaked documents. If confirmed, we will share with the scientific community. Russia's Roscosmos issued a similar statement. If there is a signal from the moon, this concerns all humanity. We are ready to cooperate. China's CNSA took a more aggressive stance. We have the capability within the Chang'e program to investigate the source of this signal. Chapter 6. The Tech World's Response. While SpaceX remained publicly silent, employees discussed the topic among themselves. At the Hawthorne factory, engineer Tom Bradley told colleagues, "Have you noticed how the boss has been acting mysteriously lately? He hasn't even shown up at normal meetings." Dr. Emily Chun, who worked on SpaceX's Starship program, observed unexpected changes regarding lunar work. The lunar mission timeline suddenly sped up. It's like there's some emergency. Jeff Bezos of Blue Origin made his first comment on the topic. If there are things to discover on the moon, We want to be there. We're accelerating the New Shepard program. Tesla employees also noticed changes in their boss's behavior. Maria Santos, a production engineer at the Austin factory, shared, "Elon usually tours the factory every day and talks to workers. We haven't seen him in the last 2 weeks. It's like he's focused on something very important." Silicon Valley tech CEOs also showed interest. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak tweeted, "Moon signal story is fascinating. If true, it changes everything we know about our place in the universe. Science must investigate." Google's AI division announced a special algorithm project to decode the signal. If the signal is real and artificial, decoding it is a priority, the director said. Microsoft's quantum computing division launched a similar project. Quantum computers can break conventional encryption methods. They could be ideal for the lunar signal. Venture capital firms increased investments in space tech startups. Andreessen Horowitz announced a $100 million special fund for space communication technologies. "If a signal is coming from the moon, we'll need ways to communicate with it," said A16Z partner Chris Dixon. Y Combinator said it was specifically looking for lunar communication startups for its next batch. Academia also mobilized. MIT launched an emergency project called the Lunar Signal Research Initiative. Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and others announced similar projects. Chapter 7. NASA's Silence and Speculation. Amid all the media frenzy, NASA's official silence remained notable. Spokesperson Karen Lynch kept giving the same answer at daily briefings. "The internal investigation into the leaked documents is ongoing. We won't make a statement without verified information." This stance further strengthened conspiracy theories. On social media, #NASA cover-up began trending. Some former NASA employees recounted how the agency had handled similar situations in the past. Apollo program veteran Dr. Eugene Miller commented, "NASA is traditionally very conservative. It won't announce anything it isn't certain about." This stance sometimes draws justified criticism. At the Johnson Space Center, Sarah Martinez felt both pride and worry over her discovery's media impact. Her superiors had told her not to speak to any outlet. "If I'd known it would get this big, maybe I would have been more careful," Sarah thought. Meanwhile, unusual activities were observed at the Kennedy Space Center. Some hangars that were normally closed opened for night shifts. "It's like there's a secret project," technician Robert Davis shared. "New equipment is being brought in, but we don't know what it is." JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, unexpectedly requested an emergency budget for lunar communications projects, $50 million for lunar surface communication enhancement. These developments stirred great curiosity in the space community. If NASA was really planning something, why wouldn't it say so openly? Several theories emerged. Verification theory. NASA is confirming the signal and checking all details before any announcement. Preparation theory. If the signal is real, they're preparing for the public's reaction. Cover-up theory. The signal has been known for a long time, but is being hidden. Hoax theory. The entire affair is fake, and NASA is trying to prove it. Astrobiology expert Dr. Sandra Foster commented, "NASA's silence is normal. These kinds of discoveries require long verification processes. Rushing could lead to scientific error." Chapter 8. Open-ended finale. In late April, a long-expected development occurred in the tech world. After weeks of silence, Elon Musk posted his first tweet. "Sometimes the universe whispers. You just need to listen." Crescent moon emoji. The tweet received 500,000 likes and 100,000 retweets within minutes. People wondered whether it was about the Lunar Call signal. Comments flooded in. Is this about the moon's signal? What does Elon know that he isn't saying? Is SpaceX's new lunar program for this? But in the days that followed, Musk made no further statements on the topic, returning to his usual Tesla and SpaceX posts. NASA still hadn't made an official statement. When asked about Musk's tweet, spokesperson Karen Lynch replied, "We can't comment on social media posts by private sector CEOs. NASA's own investigation is ongoing." Meanwhile, other interesting developments unfolded. SpaceX unexpectedly announced recruiting for new lunar missions, seeking lunar surface operations specialists. Blue Origin made a similar announcement. Jeff Bezos said, "We're looking for experts who can conduct research on the lunar surface." ESA, the European Space Agency, moved its Luna, 30 mission up from 2025 to 2024, citing technical readiness achieved earlier than expected. China's Chang'e 8 mission was also accelerated by 2 years. These developments strengthened speculation about a new moon race. Why was everyone rushing to the moon? In early May, MIT's David Kim announced a new discovery. He said he had found a second signal in the leaked materials. The second signal is shorter but has a similar pattern. It feels like a response signal, David tweeted. This announcement further increased the already high interest. People began to think there was some kind of dialogue on the moon. A Reddit community, r/Lunar Call, was created and shot to 500,000 members. People shared theories and analyzed findings. The most popular theories included the beacon theory. A beacon device left on the lunar surface during Apollo 11 is now sending a signal. The response theory. A pre-existing system on the moon woke up after the Apollo missions and is replying. The time capsule theory. A device from a very ancient civilization sensed human activity and activated. The natural phenomenon theory. A natural cosmic event not yet understood. Chapter 9. A split in the scientific community. By June, the scientific community had split in two. One camp argued the signal was real and artificial. The other said the documents were fake. Believer camp. Scholars like MIT's Dr. Maria Rodriguez, Harvard's Dr. Michael Foster, and Caltech's Dr. Kevin Chun supported the signal's authenticity. In her article in Science, Dr. Rodriguez argued, the spectral analysis is too detailed to be fake. Fabricating data at this level would be harder than having the original. Skeptic camp. Experts such as Princeton's Dr. Robert Klein and Cornell's Dr. Susan Wright argued the documents could be fake. In Nature, Dr. Klein wrote, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. There's no peer-reviewed work yet. The debate caused a rare polarization within the scientific community. Conferences saw heated exchanges among academics. At the Astrobiology Symposium held at Stanford, a live debate between Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Klein drew an audience of 500. If this signal is real, it's a turning point in the history of astrobiology, said Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Klein replied, if it turns out to be fake, trust in the scientific method will be shaken. Chapter 10. The Technology Race. In July, a lunar race began among tech companies. Every major player accelerated its moon-related projects. SpaceX development. The lunar variant of the Starship program was completed earlier than expected. Elon Musk announced, cargo delivery to the moon will be ready in 2024. Blue Origin response. Jeff Bezos said they had increased New Glenn's lunar capability. We're ready to establish a permanent base on the moon, he said. NASA Artemis acceleration. NASA revised the Artemis timeline, moving the first crewed lunar landing from 2025 up to 2024. International competition. ESA, Roscosmos, JAXA, and CNSA also accelerated their lunar programs. Everyone wanted to be first. These developments created a boom in the space economy. Lunar technology stocks rose by 300%. In venture capital, a space week emerged, with new lunar startups getting funded daily. Chapter 11. Social impact. By August, Lunar Call had become part of pop culture. Hollywood interest. Netflix allocated a $100 million budget for a miniseries titled The Signal. Music industry. Artist Grimes released the album Lunar Frequency, using the alleged signal as a sound effect. Gaming world. Major studios began developing lunar exploration-themed games. Fashion industry. Collections inspired by space communication hit the runway. Social media impact. The hashtag Lunar Call challenge went viral on TikTok, with people posting videos as if sending messages to the moon. Instagram saw an explosion of space-themed content. Chapter 12. Government silence. Despite the intense civilian interest, major governments remained silent. U.S. government position. The Pentagon stated it could not provide details due to national security implications. CIA and NSA maintained a no-comment stance. International response. The UN Office for Outer Space Affairs said it was monitoring the situation. Major space agencies announced they were preparing a joint statement. This governmental silence further emboldened conspiracy theorists. Chapter 13. Scientific method versus public interest. By September, tension rose between the scientific process and public curiosity. Peer review problem. The normal scientific process is slow. People wanted immediate answers. Media pressure. Scientists were pressured by the media to make premature conclusions. Academic integrity. Some researchers made dramatic claims for career advancement. Public impatience. People asked, why are scientists so slow? This created new challenges in science communication. Chapter 14, Economic Ripple Effects. In October, the economic effects of Lunar Call became clear. Space economy boom. Lunar-related companies reached a combined market cap of $500 billion. Traditional industries. Mining companies increased R&D investments for lunar resources. Insurance industry. New policy types were developed for space insurance. Legal framework. International law discussions began on lunar property rights. Education sector. Universities saw an explosion in enrollment for space-related programs. These economic impacts pushed governments toward more aggressive action. Chapter 15, Final Attempts at Revelation. In November, several groups tried to independently verify the signal. Amateur radio community. Ham radio operators worldwide began listening to the moon. Crowdsourced projects. SETI at home-style distributed computing projects were launched. Private observatory networks. Wealthy individuals financed private telescope arrays. University collaborations. Major universities coordinated telescope time. These efforts began producing preliminary results. Some groups claimed to have detected weak signals. Epilogue. The persistence of uncertainty. By December, the Lunar Call mystery remained unsolved, but the world had changed. Technological revolution. Lunar technology leaped ahead by a decade. Communications, propulsion, life support, breakthroughs everywhere. Scientific awakening. Public interest in science soared. STEM enrollments rose by 400%. Space economy. A new sector was born. The lunar economy had a market potential worth trillions. Cultural shift. For the first time, people truly began to see themselves as a planetary species. Philosophical impact. Are we alone? Became part of everyday conversation. Final scene. The mystery continues. In her NASA office, Sarah Martinez thought about everything that had happened since her original discovery. Her small finding had changed the world. Dr. Williams approached her. You know you changed history, Sarah? But we still don't know what it really is, Sarah replied. Is the signal real? Artificial? A natural phenomenon? Dr. Williams smiled. Maybe finding the answer isn't as important as asking the question. You made all humanity look up. Just then, an alert sounded on Sarah's computer. Another anomaly had been detected in new Apollo tapes. Sarah looked at the screen. This time it was a signal from Apollo 15. Different frequency, different pattern. Dr. Williams, Sarah said excitedly. I think this was only the beginning. They looked out the window. In the night sky, the moon shone brightly. Up there, 384,400 kilometers away, perhaps the answers to the questions were waiting. Or maybe the universe really was whispering, and humanity was finally beginning to listen. The end.